How's it going, lads, and welcome back. I haven't posted a video in over a month, and I'm really sorry about that. I didn't really have much time, a bunch of work on the side to do. YouTube isn't my full-time job yet. Hopefully it can be one day. But today we're going to look at the newest Warframe, not newer, the newest Warframe, Gara Prime. She came out recently in the latest update. Hang on, let me go check when this update dropped. May 25th is when she was released. So about 8 days ago from when I'm recording this video. I usually don't like doing build guides on Warframes that I don't really play that much, but this is an exception because I have found a way to break Gara. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to be taking this in a little bit more of a professional way than the last one, because people have told me in personal DMs that I need to go through everything from the beginning as if the Warframe was brand new, which she kind of is, not really, but you know what I mean. Explain it as if no one's ever seen this Warframe before. So, Gara is a glass Warframe. She comes with 4 abilities just like most other Warframes. Her abilities, in order, go as follows. Shattered Lash is her first, Splinter Storm is her second, Spectral Rage is her third, and Mass Vitrify is her ultimate ability. Now, her first ability, Shattered Lash, if I show you, it's a little stick, kind of. It's like a lash. It has 2 ways you can use it. You can either tap it to fire the lash directly forward at whatever you're aiming at, or hold it to make it cover out a distance in front of you like a little wave. The damage of the single point one is based on puncture, and the damage of the radius one is slash. Splinter Storm is by far Gara's most useful ability. In before it gets nerfed. Please don't nerf DE, this is actually really good. But Gara's second ability creates a ring around her of shattered glass. This glass does do damage to any surrounding enemies, can be cast on her allies to give them damage reduction and a damage multiplier. Her third ability is Spectral Rage. I don't have that in here because I find it extremely useless, in my opinion, on a Gara build, because her first 2 abilities and her ultimate work better together when this one is ignored. So use the helmet system and replace it with Eclipse is what I did here, and you'll see why in just a second. Now, her ultimate ability creates a giant glass wall that surrounds her, expanding out from where she is. Anything caught inside this glass thing will turn into glass. But this is not what we're going to be focusing on. That move it's kind of cool, crowd control and whatever. This did get nerfed because it was an invincible wall, but now it can be broken. So using it to defend from anything is pointless especially in Warframe, where there's a bajillion things shooting you at any given time. What I've done is focused on her first, second, and fourth, like I've said, her ultimate. The reason I'm doing this is because when you use your second ability and it creates this glass shards around you, you can see at the bottom right, there's a little damage counter. With that amount of damage would be dealt to enemies that you walk near that get caught within the range of this, of course. And that timer that this ability is on can be refreshed by placing her ultimate ability. And with her first ability, if you stand on the outside of this ring that you've created, the wall, and you hit it with your first ability, it increases the damage of your... Now let me get into the builds. I'll explain how this works in a second, but here you go. Steel Charge, I've formatted this 2 times. It is kind of needed because there's not much room here for changes. This is most likely going to turn into a 4-former build. I'm probably going to put a V here and then a dash there, and then unlock the Exilus slot and throw in something like Cunning Drift for some range. I do recommend using an Arcane Fury, which will increase the amount of damage that you can gain on your Splinter Storm. I unfortunately don't have one. Like I said in my previous video, I don't use Arcanes as often as I should. I don't farm Eidolons. I really should, but I don't. But here's this build, and don't forget to replace Spectral Rage with Eclipse, or else this won't be as effective. You can also change it for Empower, but Eclipse works a lot better because it scales off your power strength. Now, with Gara's first ability, it has to scale off your melee weapon, and for that I used the Pennant because I have a really good Riven mod for it, that you can see here, plus crit damage. initial combo, melee damage, and then minus puncture. I don't use puncture all that much. Usually what people prefer to do is use the quick attack on Agaras first to break the glass wall thingamawhatsit. And I couldn't do that because the minus puncture damage does affect the amount of damage you get back into Splinter Storm, because the quick attack is puncture. So I focused on a slash build instead. Why is this Unending Strike here? Hang on, I'm gonna fix this. Okay, build's fixed. We've got Prime Pressure Point for base damage, Fever Strike and North Wind for viral damage, Jagged Edge and Buzzkill for slash damage to Gara's ult, and Spoil Strike for extra damage. It minuses attack speed, so the weapon, specifically the pennant that I'm using right now, is next to useless when it comes to using it just as a normal weapon. I mainly use it as a heavy attack build, but because I've made some more efficient builds, I ended up using it as a stat stick instead. I was supposed to farmer this one more time to get a max molten impact on it, but I cannot be bothered. I'm also running out of farmer again. But you put this in for heat just to strip more armor with viral, and then obviously a Riven mod, or if you don't have a Riven mod, then just throw in a whatever mod you feel is comfortable here. Maybe throw in some more elemental damage or whatnot. Now, the way Gara's abilities work, her second ability scales off the base damage of the ability itself plus your power strength. So in my case, it'll be plus 262% of whatever the original value of this would be. But her first ability is where it gets kind of tricky. It does follow the same formula, but with a few add-ons. Her first ability, Shattered Lash, will have both the base damage of the ability plus the normal strength from the Warframe itself. And that's where you get a little tricky, because what you add on after that is the base damage of your melee weapon and the elemental damage of your melee weapon. And that's why I have obviously invested into slash damage, normal damage, and elemental damage. So while using this, if you didn't use the pennant or any melee weapon in this build, sorry, I have to like equip another weapon here. So if you didn't use the pennant in the build, you would end up using your second ability to create the glass thing, wall, and then use that to slash it off, and you get about 2,751 from the build that I have right now. So that's just the base damage that you get with the mods on. And if you use Mirage's Eclipse and then do it, from 2.7 you go all the way up to 4.8. So it's not a significant increase. I'm pretty sure it's not an increase at all, but this shows how much a stat stick can make a difference. So instead of getting 2 to 3k or between 2 and 3k for it, if you use the second ability, use Eclipse, use Mass Vitrify, and then do it, 183k damage. And this can be refreshed constantly. The way, like I said, the way to refresh her Splinter Storm would be to just cast her ult again, and every time you cast it, just make sure to hit it with your first ability to stack that damage. And it can be stacked indefinitely in any mission. Now, if I wanted to showcase how much damage this would do, let's pull up some corrupted, let's say some corrupted heavy gunners. And I think the highest enemies on the map, give them benefit of the doubt, and we'll go with level 60s. Level 60 heavy gunners are very, very tanky for normal players. And if I had to do this, this will be my third time doing it, or fourth time, not too sure. Now, I do this, and I'm gonna go stand right next to him. And he instantly dies. So, you can see how this would work. And also, if you look at the top right, there's a 90% damage reduction. This, combined with the fact that Gara's passive is that she can stand in light and have a chance to blind enemies around her, that would be extremely useful. I think with the new lighting effects, it can happen indoors as well, near lights, but you don't really focus on that too much. It's mainly just that this gives you damage reduction, and while you're casting Mass Vitrify, you're also invincible. So that's a cool thing to keep in mind, that you can cast that, and anything around you will be frozen for a limited time, and that'll let you get back up on your feet or give you a little bit of leeway so that you can replenish your health in whatever way you can. One thing that I do want you to note before I say anything else is that one thing that DE made sure you couldn't do, which is kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie, I hate that this is a thing. While Gara's the Shattered Splinter Storm, sorry, my brain's not working today, you can tell that I'm just tired, but when this is active, if you use Zenuric Dash, you don't gain the benefits of the energy regen. So you're gonna have to rely a lot on energy orbs, and that's why I would suggest that inside the second Arcane slot, if you use Arcane Fury, definitely use Arcane Energize. It'll help you out a lot. You can also use a tankier build and replace Spectre Rage, Spectre Rage, the Hall of Mirrors thing. You can replace that with Hildren's, I don't remember what it was called. I'll throw the ability up on screen. But you can replace it with that. It basically just gives Gara all of her shields back and makes her like really, really tanky. And if she's tanky and does a lot of damage, what else could you ask from a Warframe? Other than that, I don't really have much else to say. I do, however, want to thank everyone for helping support the last few videos and the new subscribers that I've earned. Like, there's about 4 of you, and to the 4 that joined our little tiny community, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. And thank you for giving me your time, and it just means a lot to me. It really does. I do want to post another video about how I farm XP and stuff, so if you want to see that, just let me know in the description and I'll post it as soon as I can get to it. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck!